What's up guys, James here. I'm back with another video, and today I'm actually redoing an old video because, the old video kind of sucked, but also I improved the subject of that video a little bit. And so I want to do a new video that allows you to see the new and improved component that I made and that I talked about, and just do a better job of it actually explaining how that component works. So what we're going to be looking at today is a table of contents, actually two table of contents, a simple one and then a kind of a fancier one that uses a dropdown instead of just a list of links. So this is meant to be used on a page where you are already displaying a loop of something, some post type, and you want to be able to create a table of contents at the top so somebody can click on a link and then it will just take them down to whatever they clicked on. So this is what we're looking at today. Pay no attention to this URL. This is not where I am keeping my Etch components anymore. I've moved these elsewhere, but I'm using this page in this example because it's already set up. So what this page is doing is it's basically displaying a list of Etch components, like this events calendar grid. Here's one. Grid to carousel, here's another, and here's a cards component, here's an accordion component, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just a list. I have a post type called components, I think, and this page is just displaying basically a list of those components. And I want to have a table of contents at the top. So let's say they want to view the accordion. They don't have to scroll and find it. They can just click on accordion, and it takes you right there. As you can see, I already have this working. I have both versions. So here's the fancy one where the drop down, I can choose accordion. And, it wasn't working because we were already on that URL, but it's working. So both of these table of contents are working. I'm going to show you how these components work and one slight little tiny modification that you need to make to your existing loop to make this work. So it's very simple. As you can see, it just works on anchor links. So you'll probably be maybe shocked at just how simple this is, especially this list one. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we got going on here. So I've turned them both into components. So we'll start with the simple one. And actually, I'm going to start, since they both require an anchor link, I'm going to start with that. So here is the section that lists all of those components. And if we drill down in here, you'll see that we have a loop, and the loop is just looping through components. That's the post type. And then it's displaying some data, a header, title, description, blah, 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 blah. All we need to do is whatever's being looped through. So that would be this card. This is what's being repeated. We just need to come over here and add this ID. And yours will say item. The only reason mine says comp is because that's what I decided to name this in the loop. But the default is item. So then you would type item.slug or whatever you want. You can change it like I did. I changed it to comp, short for component. You can change it to whatever you want, whatever makes sense for whatever the kind of content that you're looping through. So I'm going to put it back so that's working. But just so you know, on my screen, you see comp.slug, but on your screen, you're going to want to use item.slug unless you change it like I did. So that's what we got going on here. Just a simple loop. I'm not going to go through that. If you don't know how to create a loop, then this whole table of contents thing isn't going to work for you anyway. So I'm assuming that you've already kind of created this page. You've created this loop and you're like, oh, it'd be really nice if I could put a table of contents up there. So just make sure you give this the ID of comp slug, because that's going to be the anchor link that we link to later on. So now that you've done that, that's all we have to do to your existing grid. The rest is going to be in the component. So let's go ahead and click edit so we can edit this component and see how it works. And it's pretty simple. We just have a list and it's looping, of course, and we have a link, and we'll just keep drilling all the way down. Let's actually go back up to the link. So here we have a link, and the link is #, because that's how anchor links work, # item.slug, and then the list, the text is just item.title. So what that's doing is it's looping through, in my case, it's looping through my post type called components. and it's finding the title, item.title, and it's printing that out. So here's a title, here's a title, here's a title, here's a title, and it's making them links. And the URL for the link is hashtag and then the slug. So you can see that they're blue and underlined because they're links. And literally that's it for this table of contents. It's that simple. So if we, and I'm going to show you one other neat feature about this component, but I just want to show you again on the front end. So it's looping through my components and it's printing out the title for each one. Boom, 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 boom. And then for the link, you can see when I hover over it, you can see down there, it says # grid to carousel. Grid -2 carousel is the slug. And then we put the # in front of it so that it will work as an anchor link. We click on it, comes down here, we'll inspect this. And you can see right here, it says ID equals grid to carousel. That's because we put that ID equals item.slug. So it's taking the slug of this particular post and making it the ID. And then our component took the slug of the post and created an anchor link out of it. And that's it. And then you want to add scroll behavior smooth to your HTML so that you get this kind of smooth scrolling effect. Again, you should know that, but just in case you don't, it's very simple. Just add it to your HTML, scroll-behavior smooth. That's it. Easy peasy. So the drop-down one is a slightly tad bit, incy bit more complicated, only because you can't just dynamically you can't turn an option into a link. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, if you look right here, let's get out of here. Open this bad boy up. So a drop down is a select, and select is made up of options, and you can't just put a link in there. I tried that. For some reason, you can't do it. It's frustrating. It's sad. So in order to make this work, we just had to use a little bit of JavaScript, and you can just copy and paste it. It'll be on, you don't even have to copy and paste it, because if you just copy the component from my website, it'll include all this in it for you. So you won't need to mess with it. Whoa, bringing the house down. So what this tiny bit of JavaScript does is basically it's kind of turning these options into links. It's saying, hey, look at the option, look at the value of that option. And when someone clicks on it, basically go there as if it's a link. So you can see this option, we put the value # item.slug. Again, mine says comp, yours will say item, just like we did the links in the simple table of contents. But we couldn't do a link, so we just added it as the value. And then we used JavaScript to say, hey, use that value as basically a link. So when someone clicks on it, take them to whatever is entered in as the value for that particular option. Okay. Otherwise, it's the same exact concept. We have an option, we looped through it. It's printing out the title. So that's what we put inside the option, comp.title. And then for the value, we put # comp.slug. And that's it. The JavaScript handles the rest for us. So I mentioned that I was going to show you a little nice feature about these components. And that is, it's not that exciting, but if you're wondering, where's it finding the loop? What loop is it using? I created a loop prop for these components. So it defaults to recent posts. And that's because this version of Etch is old. I think Etch now just calls it the default loop. I think they just call it posts instead of recent posts, but whatever. The default doesn't matter because you just change it. So when you add the component, you click on it, and right here, you can just choose whichever loop you want to loop through. Easy peasy. So right now it's looping through components. If I change it to recent posts, and let's do this one since it's easier to see visually. The recent posts, you can see it changes. Now this won't work, of course, because this page doesn't have any recent posts on it. It has components, right? So clicking this link won't do anything. It works, it puts it up in the URL, but there's nothing on this page with that ID. so it doesn't go anywhere because this is the wrong loop. But you can see how easy it is to change the loop. So whichever loop you want to use, you just have to choose it right here. So you don't have to mess with coming in here and choosing the right loop or typing it right here, whatever. You don't have to mess with that. All you do is add the component to your page and then just pick whichever loop, whatever content you're looping through. It's going to be the same loop as what you're using, right? So for me, this loop down here, it's a component query loop. So that's what I'm going to use for this one, component query. Same for this. I'm going to put it back. So that just makes it a little bit easier for you. You don't really have to do anything with code to make this work other than some styling. So if you don't like these stupid bullets and you want to take the underlines off, whatever, do some CSS styling to make it look the way you want, but you shouldn't have to do anything with code. Just drop this component on the page, which you can do by copy and paste, and then choose the loop you want to use, and then you're done. That's it. Oh, and make sure you add the ID down here to your existing loop. Otherwise, the anchor leaks won't work. So that's it. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. You can find both of these components on my website. I'm still working on building out this page. Looks fairly ugly. Here's the old video. I'm going to replace it with the video that you're watching right now. But you can come down here and click on this if you want to copy the drop-down version, or click on this if you want to copy the simple version. All you have to do, copy it, and then come into Etch and hit Control-V. And, oh, this is an old version of Etch, so that doesn't work. In your version of Etch, it will work. If you're using the latest version of Etch, you just copy the component and then paste it in. Yeah, okay, so it kind of works. If you copy a component from here and then hit Control-V, it works on the older version. On the newer version, you'll be able to just click on this, come in here, hit Control-V, and it will work. So that's it. That's it for this video, guys. Hopefully this wasn't too confusing. I hope this video is a little bit better than the last one. And I hope you, if you're already using this, maybe you'll appreciate the new loop prop that I added to the component. It just makes it a smidgen better. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you learned something, and I will catch you guys in the next one.